We are kicking off today with WWE, and it was in late 2023 that Kevin Dunn left after decades of service, and he has been replaced by Lee Fitting. Under Fitting, WWE has taken steps to refresh its style and storytelling techniques with new technologies, innovative camera work, and updated production values. Now, PW Insider reports that WWE is planning to scale back its use of augmented reality content in its weekly shows, and these will instead be saved for special occasions. The decision to pull back from AR content on weekly programming marks a shift in WWE's approach to presentation, as WWE is ready to prioritize other aspects of its weekly shows. One source stated that this week's SmackDown is believed to be the last time AR will be used regularly on WWE TV, but as stated, the technology will remain for big events. Between this and the new entrance stages, WWE's main roster is looking very different from a few weeks ago, as WWE is indeed in a new era when it comes to production. Now, it's been 2 years since Big E suffered a broken neck on SmackDown, and while he and the New Day reunited at the Hall of Fame this year, his future in the ring remains uncertain. Taking to Twitter this week, Big E reflected on his injury and said that things are mostly the same, with his C1 healing vibrously but has not formed the crucial new bone. Big E said that he's not medically cleared, and in a piece of brutally honest truth, that he may never be cleared, but he's blessed to be free of pain and otherwise healthy. Big E has also served as a scout for WWE and was a panelist for the WrestleMania 40 kickoff, and whatever comes next for him, we're hoping for nothing but the very best. As we reported yesterday, Jack Perry showed up for New Japan's Windy City Riot event with a jacket emblazoned with a message to the Chicago fans, "Cry me a river." This was an obvious nod to his backstage fight with CM Punk, and the references didn't stop there, as during the match, Perry attempted a GTS on Shota Umino. The Scapegoat also responded to chants of "You got choked out" and "No he didn't" by putting Shota Umino into a chokehold, acknowledging the footage shown on Dynamite. Ultimately, Umino got the win with a Death Rider, paying homage to Jon Moxley, but what did you make of Perry's Punk references? Let us know in the comments. On this week's AEW Dynamite, Will Ospreay had some choice words for Triple H, as he claimed the WWE CCO only got to the top by grinding on the boss's daughter. This was in response to the game stating during an interview that some talent may choose to not join WWE in favor of a lighter schedule, but Ospreay originally had much more to say. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was noted that Ospreay also had a line about CM Punk lined up, but that was nixed as a portion of Dynamite was already scheduled to be about him. Dynamite saw the airing of the All-In backstage footage, and those in AEW felt it was overkill to have the footage and have Ospreay bring him up during his promo. AEW had a lot to say about WWE talent this week, though many feel that they should be focusing on their own show more, and we'll have to see what's next said by Will Ospreay. During WrestleMania 40 Night 1, The Rock teamed with Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and the final boss was more than happy to remind folks who's in charge. The Brahma Bull threatened to fire the referee for the match if he tried to count the teams out, and that wasn't the only abuse of power seen that night. In a video clip doing the rounds online, The Rock can be seen slapping a referee to wake them up and demanding they count Reigns' pin on Rhodes, but the American Nightmare kicked out. The Rock has vowed to return and confront Cody Rhodes in the future, and while Rhodes stood tall in Philly, the final boss will have plenty of resources at his disposal once he's back on TV. AEW Collision news now as Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli faced Kyle Fletcher and Powerhouse Hobbs this week, and things went very badly for the American Dragon. While the BCC got the win, the team was attacked post-match by the Don Callis family, and Konosuke Takeshita hit a brainbuster on Danielson on the ramp. Danielson was tended to by nearby referees and medical staff, and the former world champion will be at a severe disadvantage next week when he faces Will Ospreay at AEW Dynasty. We've got some departure news to report now, as Sid Scala, who was once the assistant general manager of NXT UK, has been released from WWE. In his role, Scala would answer to NXT UK GM and British wrestling legend Johnny Saint, and his release came over the past week, according to PW Insider. Scala also competed a handful of times for NXT UK and played a role in the development and production of the brand, but now he'll have to make his name outside of WWE. Scala isn't the only name to leave WWE recently, as PW Insider adds that Sue Aitchison, who had been the WWE's longest-running employee, has also parted ways with the company. Aitchison served as the Director of Community Relations for WWE and had been with the company since 1986, totaling over 38 years of dedicated service. Aitchison played a key role in WWE's community outreach programs and is widely credited for building WWE's relationship with Make-A-Wish and other charitable initiatives. For her efforts, Aitchison received the WWE Hall of Fame Warrior Award in 2019, but this actually wasn't her first on-screen appearance for the company. At Backlash 2001, Aitchison played the Duchess of Queensberry for a match between William Regal and Chris Jericho, which saw her influence the rules in the favor of the British star. Sue Aitchison did plenty with WWE, but is now ready to walk away from the promotion, and she certainly earned a peaceful retirement after decades of hard work. More from Windy City Riot now, as the event saw Zack Sabre Jr. regain New Japan's World TV title with a win over Matt Riddle, who was in no mood to stick around. Riddle got up immediately after the pin and no-sold the loss as he danced his way to the back while laughing, signifying that the title meant very little to the former champion. This is hardly a great look for Riddle, and it may leave New Japan questioning whether to use him again, especially now that the title is off the original bro. At WrestleMania 40, Stephanie McMahon welcomed fans to the Paul Levesque era, and this Mania was the first to see no involvement from Stephanie's father, Vince. Stephanie was also present at the Hall of Fame as Paul Heyman spoke highly of her husband, and once again, there was no mention of the former WWE chairman. On the Behind the Turnbuckle podcast, Jonathan Coachman spoke about Stephanie's return to WWE and what it means for Vince McMahon. He said, "When Paul Heyman said Paul Levesque guy who was sitting next to Paul Levesque, aka Triple H in the front row, Stephanie McMahon. That shocked me. And when Stephanie sat there next to Triple H, with Triple H getting his flowers, I thought that was a very clear message to her father that I'm not you and you're not going to make me and my brother Shane, who's been out of the business for several years, run away because she quit like a year ago, Tommy." And to me, that was the more powerful statement than what Paul Heyman did. It was Stephanie sitting there. And when we haven't seen her for a year and you picked that night to come back, didn't you think that was calculated? Right now, Stephanie doesn't have an official role with WWE, but Triple H said he's pleased that she's home and she may have a bigger role to play in this new era without her father in charge. In 2022, WWE turned Adam Copeland heel and he formed the Judgment Day, but his time as a villain would only last a handful of months before he was kicked out and turned face again. In a recent interview with Van Color, Copeland spoke about how fun it is being a heel and how hard it is to be a face, and believes his retirement has helped fans embrace him as a face. Copeland even said that he doesn't think he can pull off being a heel anymore, as fans have too much goodwill for him, so don't expect the TNT champion to embrace his darker side again. And we're ending today with Vix Crow, better known as Alicia Fox, who made her return to the ring this week at StarCast Down Under and scored a huge win. In her first singles match in close to 5 years, Crow defeated Mickie James, and we'll have to see what's next for her following her return to competition.